Hi. Hello everyone. Today I want to speak about a phenomenon that we are all seeing in social media. We like to call Karen. Karen is a one-word definition of a man or a woman, mostly white, that having a nervous breakdown out in public. So let's speak about this idea of living together, living in a community, in a group. What does it mean? So from our liberal democratic point of view, all men and women all around the world born free and equal. It doesn't matter their nationality, ethnicity, race, color, religion or not religion, sexual orientation, everyone born free and equal. But, and there is the but, we are not born into an empty vacuum. We are not born out of nowhere. We are all born inside a group of people that other human beings belong. So, from instantly, our level of freedom is reduced without, of course, considering the biological thing that from newborn babies to adulthood, we need the members of the group in order to grow. So the young people, their amount of freedom even reduced further. So there is a question in criminology that asks, where does the authority, take their power? So the answer is very simple. From those small parts of the people gave in order to live in a group. Because if you don't want to live in a group, you can isolate yourself, live in a deserted island or out there in the forest. There, no one around you, you are alone. So it seems like you have more freedom, but there are benefits in living in a community, in a group. We can see it in nature. Those who live in packs have more chances to survive and pass on. Okay? So once this axiom is understood, it will be easier to us to understand the importance of the rule of law in any group or country that we are located, whether we share these same norms or not. Basically, laws and customs of each country or a group is the accepted norms for that group. And any violation of those norms constitutes a violation of the accepted social contract, and therefore it is the role of the collective to bring to justice those offenders in order to restore life to their standards. So after we understand those 2 points, that everyone born equal and free, but from the other end they born into a society, into a group or community, so they basically not 100% free, they are a little bit less, and these less parts, small parts, the freedom that we give up is the power of the authority in order to belong to the community. Okay, so let's start now to speak about rights. Okay, we are all allowed to say, I have a right. So it's customary to say that rights have 2 types. Okay, we have human rights, that they are basic rights which every person as a person is entitled, and we have civil rights. Their rights are granted by the state or the group. So this definition is acceptable by vast majority of people on earth and by their countries themselves. But the question is, what type sub-rights belong to which sector? Okay, so let's take one for example: the right to live, to life and security. Okay, we are all everywhere in the world have the right to live. It doesn't mean we have the right to live as we pleased, but we do have the right to be existent. Okay, but what about the freedom of speech? Does it a civil right or a human right? So in this point, the opinions are divided. It's depending who are you asking. If you ask an American, he will say no, it's a human right, it's a basic right. Everyone has the right to speech. Okay, to have the freedom of speech. But if you ask elsewhere in the world, they will tell you no, it's a civil right. Let's take another one. What about the freedom of marriage? The right to be married, What about it? It's a civil right or a human right? And don't forget that marriage have a social, civil, even economic consequences. There are effects. So there are people that say, countries or groups that say, no, because we give something to those who are married, we have the right to define who will be married according to our norms. And there are other countries that say, no, being married is a basic human right, and everyone has the right to marry whoever they want. So, of course, no right is absolute, okay? Every right limited, whether by another right or the norms, accepted norms, other accepted norms. Even the right of life of security is not absolute, because as we know, in parts of the world, we still have death penalty. So understanding these issues will help us live together in peace, with the ability to criticize the method which we are not agree, but certainly not to judge the other. Because once I'm judging a person or someone or something, by definition I'm saying that I know what is right, and the other side is wrong. Okay, so it's make conflicts. And after we saw those kind of arguments, so I can criticize the other side, because once I criticize, it's mostly say that I recognize the differences between us, but I think I'm right, okay? But I'm not judging you, okay? I will try to convince you. And this is where democratic societies, countries, communities is so important, those democratic tools. Because in democracy, this is what great about her, it doesn't mean to do whatever you want. People, I don't want to name states, but people think that democracy means I can do whatever I want. I'm free. But it's not that. Democracy is a tool, it's a structure to help us to decide what are the norms, okay? By arguing, voting, freedom of speech, transparency, when rules or norms will be accepted. So this is why we educate our people to use democratic tools in order to solve conflicts. So I want to know from you at house, at home, what type of right you think is a basic, okay, and you discover that in another part of the world is not even exist. Write down below the answer. We would love to know your thoughts about it, and I will see you next time. Thank you very much.